Hey GCSE physicists, welcome to this video on changes of state, where we're going to be going over the particle configuration for solids, liquids and gases. Don't forget, if you need more help on this topic, check out my resources on the My EdSpace website, or you can have a look in the description of this video to check out joining my live lessons. So, let's jump straight on in. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is solids. So particles in a solid are roughly arranged like this, okay? They're in nice, neat rows. We say that they are regularly arranged. Now, a common misconception is that students think that particles in a solid are still. They're not. They're actually vibrating side to side like this. We say that they are vibrating around a fixed position. What we mean by fixed position is that they're not moving around. The arrangement, the order that they're in isn't changing. So they can't move over the top of one another, but they are just vibrating side to side in their fixed position. Now, we say that particles in a solid are held by strong bonds, and they have the lowest amount of kinetic energy of any of our states of matter, because they're just vibrating one side to the other in their fixed position. Remember that kinetic energy is the energy stored by any moving object. So these solid particles are moving, so they have got kinetic energy. They've just got the lowest amount of kinetic energy. So next we're going to go to the next amount of kinetic energy. So liquids have got more kinetic energy than solids. This is because a liquid can take the shape of its container. So a liquid can change the arrangement. The particles can flow over the top of one another to take the shape of the container it is in. However, you must remember that if you're asked to draw this diagram in an exam, that your liquid particles have got to be touching each other. Liquids have got weaker bonds in between them than solids, but they're not non-existent. So remember to make sure that your liquid particles are touching each other. Now, we say that the particles in a liquid can flow over one another, so they can change their order. Notice, please, that there are some gaps in between the particles in a liquid that there aren't in a solid. This means that we can compress liquids slightly, whereas we cannot compress solids. And we say that liquids have got a higher kinetic energy than solids. So those particles are moving more. They're moving faster and they're moving more than the particles in a solid. Now finally, we're going over here to my particles in a gas. There are very weak bonds in between particles in a gas. In fact, we say in physics that they are negligible, which means that we don't have to account for them when we're talking about gases in physics. I'm sure the chemists will tell you that there are bonds between particles in a gas, but for physics, we're going to kind of ignore them. And we can do that because they're very, very weak. So, particles will fill the container they are in. They can then rebound off the walls because they move randomly in straight lines. Now, particles in a gas will only move in straight lines. They don't move in curves. So they move in random directions in straight lines, and they can rebound from the container wall. So if we imagine that this here is a container of gas, those gas particles are going to be rebounding from the wall. Now, particles in a gas move the fastest out of solids, liquids and gases, so we can say that the particles in a gas have got the highest kinetic energy. And there you go, that's solids, liquids and gases and their particle arrangements all sorted for you, with the key phrasing that you need to include in every exam question. If you found this useful, don't forget to check out my resources on the My Ed Space website. Have a look in the description of this video to look at joining my live lessons. And while you're there, don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'm going to see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.